Welcome to Beyond the Awards, a podcast from the British Wedding Film Festival. This is where we have honest conversations with filmmakers shaping wedding cinema, nominees, winners, and industry voices. I'm Joss.
And I'm Jeff, and as co-founders with Laura and Pete of the British Wedding Film Festival, we're excited to bring these conversations to you.
For this episode of Beyond the Awards, we're joined by Jason from Afterglow Films, a filmmaker whose work stands out for its incredible sense of personality, character, and distinctly alternative approach to wedding storytelling.
This year at the festival, Jason was shortlisted under our Best Social Edit category. Instead of sticking to safe, traditional templates, Jason always leans into visual wit and genuine fun.
Today, we're talking about what it takes to create unique films, what alternative wedding filmmaking actually means to him, and how to inject real personality into a crowded industry. Jason, welcome.
Jason.
Hello.
Lovely to see you, mate. How are you?
Yeah, really good. Thank you so much for having me. It's been, I loved it when you said you were announcing a podcast because I couldn't get enough of the festival at the time. And then you announced it. Didn't quite expect to get an invitation, so I wasn't sure if it was exclusive for people who are who are awarded on the night, but absolutely delighted. So
you were part of the festival, Jason. You were short. We'll go through that, but you were shortlisted. You came to the event. You promoted us on social. So you really got involved. Actually,
I loved it. I thought it was great, and I've been looking forward to it for so long. And I thought it was something that we needed, but I'm sure we'll get into that. But yeah, doing great. My season has actually just pretty much begun. Like I've got a full calendar of weddings, but I've only done 3 so far.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm just getting started now, and getting the creative juices are flowing again. It's been something I've been looking forward to since this festival to put into practice. So, it's things are going good.
Yeah, and on the subject of your nominations / shortlisting, don't forget that is pretty much a whisker off a win.
Oh yeah,
you know?
I remember. I remember listening to some of your other podcasts and I sort of the explanation of it, and yeah, I mean, I felt like a winner on the night when my name got called. It was great, but it was just it's just great to be here, guys. I'm just delighted to chat to other people who are passionate about the industry as much as I am.
Yeah. And it's a nice role reversal because I've been interviewed by you, and I'm sure Joss has as well.
Me too. Yeah,
But
this time, Jason, you're on your own. Yeah, you're on your own now, Jason.
It does almost feel weird.
So actually,
weird to not have Danny with you.
Yeah. This is an intervention, Jason, actually. We're going to grill you for the next 45 minutes.
Oh, brilliant.
No, you didn't grill us. Actually, you were, I've been on your pod twice, I think.
Yeah.
Before.
As is Jeff. Actually, you two are the only 2 people who have been on twice.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Do you want to shamelessly plug your podcast, Jason?
Oh, yeah.
For our international audience.
Why not? Let's get stuck in. So for international audience out there, hello, my name is Jason. I'm one half of that Wedding Videographer podcast. I do that with Danny from Visual Films, who is at a wedding today.
Yeah, it's a nice podcast as well.
I highly recommend your pod, actually, for anyone listening to ours. Definitely check out that Wedding Videographer podcast. It's really cool.
It's like this, except for more professional.
Guys, I was the reason we were delayed today. Like
that's true. Jason, you've obviously you're a listener, so you know exactly what's coming next.
Hell yeah!
Before we get into your journey, your skills, your films, the most important thing in this, maybe not, but one of the most important things in this podcast, your 2 truth and 1 lie, please. Have you prepared them?
You bet I have.
It
took a long time, but I wanted to test you. I really wanted to test you out. So
sounds like a lot of effort has gone into this one.
I like to prepare.
Like it.
Okay. So obviously you guys run the British Wedding Film Festival, and at that you gave out some trophies. Now, outside of weddings, I have only won 1 trophy. I have won 1 trophy in the wedding industry for one of these award shows you get. Not quite the elusive one that was on offer in February. But outside of weddings, I have won 1 trophy in my life, and that was for remote control car racing.
That is so niche. I love that. Okay.
That
was said very confidently as well.
Second fact. When I was born, I was partially deaf until I was 4 years old.
Wow.
That is number 2.
Wow.
And number 3, in 1999, Pokemon released the first base set of Pokemon cards, 102 in total. And I, like Ash Ketchum, caught them all. Actually, has he caught them all? I caught them all. So I have all 102 base set Pokemon cards.
I'm speechless.
I don't quite understand the last one.
You don't understand Pokemon cards?
Jeff, come on.
Really?
This is a serious
Are they-
podcast.
are they
You
cards
should
like
understand Pokemon.
Are they cards
So
that you
it-
collect, like we used to do with Panini football stickers?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, I was an avid collector of Panini stickers as well, but not quite as avid as I was Pokemon cards.
Do you
It was-
still have them, Jason? Because they'll be worth a lot of money now.
Whoa! That's cheating, Joss.
Oh, what? That's okay. Maybe
Yeah,
it's not
you can't
cheating.
cross
It's
it.
trying to.
You can't cross-examine so obviously. You got to be a bit more sly than that. VidFlow helps wedding and event filmmakers deliver their films in a premium Netflix-style experience that feels as cinematic as the work itself. Instead of juggling different platforms, download links, and USB sticks, VidFlow brings everything together into one beautifully branded platform.
And the best part, your couples can watch their films directly on their TV using the dedicated TV app from VidFlow. No HDMI cable, no USB sticks. Just open the app and press play.
If you want your delivery experience to feel just as premium as the films you create, visit VidFlow. Anyway, should we do the serious stuff? And we'll try and guess. We'll try and guess at the end. But I've got an idea. I've got a definite idea.
Okay.
So, Jason, tell us about how you started. I mean, don't go all the way back until you were 4 because you obviously couldn't hear then. So,
Come again, Jeff.
yeah. How did you get into this, mate?
Yeah, let's go back to when video became part of my life. Videos, I was thinking about this today. Video's been kind of part of my life for the last 20 years. I went to college, studied TV with an aspiration to become a videographer for the BBC. I had a lot of more corporate videography jobs back then and became disillusioned with the industry. It wasn't as magical as I sort of thought it might be. The environment wasn't really nice. The work was pretty tedious. So, once I got out of college, I kind of became disillusioned with video. But at college, someone ran a wedding videography company, and obviously to make some extra cash at college, I tagged along for a couple of weekends, and it became kind of this side business that I had for a good 10, 15 years, just working for other companies, never really believing that I wanted to do it myself, never really having the ambition to go and do it myself. And it wasn't until I kind of reached the end of my corporate ladder climb that I decided that I really should do something for myself, because the ceiling had been firmly met in the corporate world for me. And I knew I was a hard worker, and I wanted to, build something that I could go as high as I wanted to if I put the effort in, essentially. And, I became obsessed with podcasts on, self-belief and business growth and marketing. And learning all of those things, I thought, what could I do that I actually understand? And wedding videography was that constant. It'd been in my life since I was 17. And I just decided in 2018 to give it a go. And I started Afterglow as it was back then. Obviously, things were a little bit different back then to how they are now, but I'm sure I'll talk a little bit more about that in a wee minute. But that's essentially how I got started. Just someone invited me along to a wedding, and I just basically.
So about what year was that? When you were
the first wedding I filmed was in 2007, and then I didn't do another one regularly until 2009. So
Whoa,
That's
Yeah.
been actually
Me.
going for so long.
we were using tapes. We were using tape back then.
Yeah. That's before me, because I only jumped into doing it properly when the EX1 came out, because I thought I just did not want to use tapes. I used tapes when I used to do my diving videos, and I just thought it wasn't until the EX1 came out that I thought, well, for one, it's progressive instead of interlaced, so that's like real movie, and it was cards instead of tapes. So I can't believe I've actually found someone that's been doing this longer than me.
I mean, not consistently. I was, it was never a business. It was just, I'd get a text saying, "Are you free this weekend?" And then I would go along and do it. My job was so basic back then. It was like, don't touch the cameras. Just make sure they're in focus, which I did. I managed to mess that up because autofocus was not as it is today. And I remember on the dance, my job was to basically pan the camera left and right for 15 minutes. That was all I had. Which just blows my mind now. But that was it. So yeah, but the good thing about that is, I didn't have the ambition at that point to do wedding videography. So I didn't really look at it as, what could I do for myself here? I was just learning how weddings operate, what the structure of the day is, what the etiquette is. So I had a really good level of knowledge of how weddings worked before actually taking it on for myself. So I can't imagine what some people who just jump into the industry and don't see how weddings operate. I had, the company I worked for did so many a year, and they had great experience. So yeah, I had good mentors on how to stay professional and how to work with photographers in a way that wasn't disruptive. So I keep that with me all the time. But I remember filming my first wedding, really having a good insight as to, okay, I know exactly what I'm doing here. The only difference is that I'm the main videographer this time. So
what camera was that on?
Well, we went all, we had the range. I mean, I remember it was the Sony, was it the ZV-1 or something like that?
Right.
God, I couldn't tell you. Honestly, Jeff, I'm not a proper gearhead. So like when it comes to camera names and things, I just got given a camera and pressed record. That was pretty much my job back then. But I remember that was like a big upgrade because there was these big shoulder cams initially. And they were heavy.
Did you have a slider, Jason?
Yeah, we had sliders.
We all did.
Everyone we speak to, this is the best. Like, this is some of my favorite stuff. Like, people that started in like the 2010s all had a slider.
Yeah, we were sliding off everything. You put balance on a chair, get a plant pot. You tried to drag a fire extinguisher over for a bit of balance. You were sliding everything. But I do remember, before in-body stabilization, I was trying these, the Tai Chi movements we all do now, like with a camera. I was attempting that with the cameras back then, and I hadn't even seen it online. It was just like that felt like a natural thing to do. And I do remember Mike, who ran the company I was working for. I didn't hear it from him, but the guy who worked with him said Mike really liked what you were doing with that Tai Chi thing. And I remember that was like 2010 that I was doing that. So but yeah, it blows my mind. Like the sliders were everything, I remember when someone actually, before I started my business, someone tried to sell me their wedding videography business, and part of the package was a slider, and I was like, oh man, like come on, we're moving on from sliders now.
When did you actually then go solo yourself and set up your own business?
Yeah, so that was in 2018. I was working as a photographer for a commercial property database company. It was great fun to begin with, but it became really Americanized after a while. They put watches on us to track our steps and track our movements and make sure if we hadn't moved in the last 10 minutes, they'd give us a call.
Talk about Big Brother.
In our car. They really, basically, because it's a worldwide company, there were people in Canada who just decided to go to the cinema during their shifts, and then they just put everyone on lockdown. So, but before that, I could wake up in the morning, decide that I was going to drive to Oban on the West Coast, take a few pictures there, come back for 1 o'clock, edit for about 2 hours, and then just deliver that. And that was my day's work. And the next day I could, head on over to Aberdeen if I wanted to. Just it was freedom of movement. It was great, and I could just take any pictures I wanted, and they rewarded you for creative photography as well. But then it just became, you have to be in this particular grid at this particular time, and if you're not, you're going to have a disciplinary, and it just didn't seem very fun after that. So that's when I started listening to podcasts about doing something for yourself, and that's when I knew wedding videography. So I didn't necessarily know how to run a wedding videography business, but I knew that it's something that I could do, and I knew editing quite well. So I thought it was something I could jump right into. So it was 2018 that I started that, and I managed to get a few weddings pretty quick because I did a Facebook advertisement with a Win Your Wedding film. And I just basically, I didn't say it's going to be a luck of the draw. I didn't give the terms and conditions. I just picked 3 that I wanted to do, and there were 3 that were within the next month. So I basically just did 3 weddings off the cuff, delivered them all, and then used that to basically go out Facebook advertising like mad. And then it went a bit mad. It went mad because I was charging pennies, though. Like that's that's like you were giving away the world for 700 quid, which is mad. But that's just kind of what you do at the beginning, because you think, well, that's a lot of money for
what
you think is
like back then.
Yeah. Well, my style. So because obviously I'd been second shooting for a lot of companies that didn't necessarily break the norm. I think you looked at about 95% of wedding videography businesses from 1990 to 2012. And they were pretty much the same. You had that kind of the slow orchestral music. Everything was pretty much in slow motion, slow pans, crossfades and things like that. So by 2018, things kind of had evolved a little bit. And I kind of replicated the company that I was doing a lot of work for, by doing sort of orchestral slow edits, maybe try to make it a bit more musical, because I had a really strong taste in music. Whenever I listen to music, that's kind of when I visually get inspiration. So, and because I was in a car all day for my job, I listened to a lot of music. And that's when I would get kind of ideas. And I loved uplifting orchestral tracks and how they could, bring emotion. So I really wanted to go heavy on the music side. But I quickly became bored of that. Like, orchestral music is good, but it's only good if it's used effectively with other music, I think. And I had a bit of an alternative taste to music. And I started listening to that, and I could imagine how I would edit. I think I remember the first time I sort of thought about doing something different is I heard this really amazing rock song, and I was like, oh, it'd be really cool to do like a groom of the month, like slideshow, and just people looking badass and stuff. And I'm like, but I can't do that. Like no one wants that. And I really
when was that?
I mean, I want to see that.
That was in 2018, 2019. I was thinking that. I hadn't really been exposed to the company or other videographers that really inspired me and changed my direction. And it wasn't until just before lockdown. I think it was in just the new year of 2020. I was just looking forward to 2020's weddings and trying to get some inspiration. And I came across Bottle Brush Films from Australia, and it just blew my mind that they operated without permission to be exactly who they wanted to be and deliver wedding films that were so uniquely different to the couple that they were for. You got who they were after watching that film, and they broke the mold in terms of all conventional beliefs that I had about wedding videography. And it wasn't until I saw that I gave myself permission to go, okay, I can do something different and people will like it because I love this. And if I love this, I'm sure other people also love it. So that's when the light switched. And of course, I only got to practice on one wedding before lockdown happened. But that's when I signed up to MusicBed. And I went all out with the MusicBed songs, and they absolutely loved it. It was great. But it kind of happened at a perfect time because it allowed me to sort of, I lost all the bookings for 2020, and I basically rebranded and sort of redesigned what I was going to do so that when it came back, this is the stuff I was going to do. And I just re-edited the weddings I had done in the style I wanted to do because that's what I could do during lockdown. So lockdown kind of came at a good time for me. But I mean, look, I say a good time. I did have 60 weddings booked for 2020 and I was going to go full time, and they pretty much all left. But it's a good thing that did, because I would have done 60 very orchestral weddings. And they wouldn't, I would have probably gone stuck down this path. So, that's pretty much how Afterglow became what it is. The official rebrand happened in 2022 after we kind of got going again in 2021. So the rebrand launched in January 2022, and that's kind of been the Afterglow that we see now.
So how would you describe the Afterglow that we see now? Because on your website, you talk about being alternative, and your films are full of energy. how would you describe your style?
So it definitely
What
has
does it actually
evolved.
mean to be alternative?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely has evolved over the time. I think initially that alternative was, there were two categories. There were people who just wanted what they believed a wedding film was, and then people who didn't want a wedding film because they knew what a wedding film was. I was for that category. I was the people who wanted an alternative choice to what a wedding video is. So, and most people that book me don't really want a wedding videographer until they see some of my work. And I'm not saying I'm the only one that does it, because there's so many talented people that do something different now. But especially in Scotland, there wasn't many people really chasing a different angle. So alternative for me is someone who is willing to experiment with different genres of music, different themes, leans into what the couple's about, not just on the wedding day, but what they're about, what their interests are. And the evolution of Afterglow over the years is that before I thought it just had to be an upbeat, energetic track. But what happened is that I figured I was only using clips of people who were having fun and smiling and laughing. And the clips that I would get when I was second shooting for other companies that were those shots, they weren't getting included because they didn't conform to the romantic narrative that film was meant to be. So I essentially just started focusing on people being happy, and my films naturally took an energetic look because weddings are energetic. All I was doing was posting what I genuinely see on the day. So although it's kind of described as alternative, that's really only for the couples to kind of understand that I'm not like one of the sort of the majority. I'm something different. Whereas all I'm doing is posting wedding films exactly as they look. They're fun. They're full of happy people. And I don't think I'm doing anything out of the norm for the majority of my weddings. But now it's kind of evolved where people come to me with ideas and themes, and it's a collaborative effort, and they want to challenge. They want something fun and completely different. And even though I want to preserve their wedding day, they want it told in a completely different way, maybe using inspiration from one of their favorite directors or, a TV show. And my eyes just light up when that happens.
I love that.
Yeah.
And I'm getting excited on this one because one of the film that you were shortlisted for under the best social edit category is very much what you're talking about. It's like a themed edit. Yeah. It is themed after Wes Anderson. I know you do others, like I've seen other of your work, like The Office, fantastic. So it's kind of become part of your brand, hasn't it? To kind of, when we talk about cinematic and the inspiration is taken from cinema, you take that literally.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily that I'm like a massive film buff. Like I love cinema, but it's quite hard to take it in and understand how to execute that, like just from scratch. Essentially, people come to me with an idea, and then that's when I kind of go into, education mode. I start studying what it is that makes people like that aesthetic. What is it that they look for? And of course, the golden rule for me is, even though there is a theme here, your day is going to go on as it would. I don't want to like a big studio there. We don't want to disrupt your day. Like, this is not a film set. This is your wedding day. So I will try and interlink as much as I can. It's really easy to do that for the teaser because you get the very best of the things I set up. But the wedding day does tend to go on as it doesn't normally. But for a teaser, you can really hone in on the creative side. So for these themed weddings, I really say that this is mainly for your teaser. Your full film is going to have elements of that, but it's not going to be a full on like Wes Anderson production run. I mean, I try my best to do that, but it can be hard because the hardest part is that the couple are so up for it, but they fail to. They don't tell anyone else that they've hired someone to do this. So when people expect to see a wedding videographer stand in a corner and, just stay quiet, they don't say, okay, guys, right, I want you to stand in a line. I want you to spit some whiskey out. Like they don't expect that on the wedding day. But yeah. That basically was improvisation. I saw they were all going to do a cheers, and I was like, oh, it would actually be really funny if someone just spat. So we filled it with water, and I said, right, you at the end, if you can just spit after you do a cheers. And honestly, they couldn't like we did 3 takes and none of them wouldn't stop laughing. So the cut is so short, and that's why it just zoomed in his face. Because
that's the best bit. The bit that you can see that is breaking character just at the end of the shot. That is the funniest part. That's just, you can just tell you're all having such a laugh.
Yeah.
That's
the longer film definitely has more of the outtakes of it included, because I want to remind them of, we actually had fun here. You know, so it's not necessarily going to be cinematic. It's a reminder of what actually went on here, because that's important too. But I think when it comes to themes, people will come to me with an idea, and then I will try and, you know, create a sort of an idea, a script of some sort that, you know, I use as a guide. Because if I can get like 30% of that, then you've got something you can use. And
do you share that with them before?
Occasionally, depends on the kind of the, you know, on how much. Like, so for the Office one I did, I had, you know, pages upon pages, and I did share them. Like, is this a good idea? Like, to go for this? Like, who do you know would be good for these? Because I had experience enough at that point to go, people need to understand what I'm doing here. If we're going to do this right, people need to know and be ready to be asked questions and stuff. Because The Office was way more intrusive than the Wes Anderson one was, because it required a lot more acting, a lot more speaking to camera and things like that. They are great fun, but they are incredibly challenging on a day that has so much pressure added to it already. But it has become part of the brand. Whenever someone online has, you know, like in a forum, they'll say, "Oh, I'm looking for this sort of different idea." Basically, every videographer in Scotland just sends them my way. And then I sort of try and break down what the challenge is. I mean, I've got so many this year that are different. We're doing like a Trainspotting one next week. So
you've got to enter that. Yeah. You've got to enter it.
Yeah, I know. I want to see that.
So, I mean, outside the wedding, right? I've arranged to meet this couple a week before the wedding, and we're gonna go around supermarkets. I've got action cams in the trolley. We're gonna like just you know choose arguing over Netflix, choose takeaways because you can't be arsed cooking dinner, stuff like that. So this is outside the wedding, and then it leans into the wedding. So, you know, a part of me wanting to experiment even further with this is because of the inspiration I had at the awards and seeing what the creativity, what kind of level of creativity is out there. You know, I'm lucky enough that I get to do this for a job, and why not try and push what you can do? I don't believe in heart of hearts that I'm the best filmmaker in the world, but I want to try and push myself whenever I can. And when people come to me with these ideas, I know most other people probably aren't willing to even touch it. So, you know, if I don't do it, then no one else will.
How often do you do like an extra day's shoot, like a pre-wedding shoot, to get all this stuff in?
Never.
But you will do with the Trainspotting one.
The Trainspotting one is because I sort of thought it would be a good idea, based on the, you know, the original monologue and how that actually looks. Obviously, I'm not going to get them sprinting all over the place, but I thought it would be a good way.
What about tied to the railway track?
I know, right? Yeah, getting them like taking pelters on a 5-a-side pitch and stuff. But I thought that would be a really good way for them to introduce their wedding film, like they're at their wedding. You know, like so. You know, at the end of it, it would be something like, you know, why do I do this? Well, you know, I can't remember what my line was. I had a script, but essentially, you know, I choose us every time or something. So it does end up getting romantic, but it's a fun way of doing it. I've got the brief.
I find that really, I love it, and I love when people do it, because I think I would struggle to direct to that level. Like, my skill is more about framing a moment, waiting. You know, I've been on your podcast. We talked about this, Jason, like holding my breath, waiting for the moment, waiting. The idea of directing, I'd love to, but it kind of scares me.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I wouldn't know where to start. Yeah. So
directing
it always fascinates me when people do it.
Directing can be difficult. It's definitely not something that's in my comfort zone. It all depends on the energy of the day. Like, if the couple have this great energy to them, then, you know, ideas come to me all the time. But if they seem really reserved, it's really hard for me to get them to a level, because what's really important to me is that I never make anyone do something that they're not comfortable doing, because I don't need that negative thought lingering when they watch this film back, saying, "Oh, that's the time he got us to, do this." I really want people to connect with the footage in a positive way, because yes, we're making cinema, we're making film, but these are real memories for them, and there's nothing worse than having any regrets on your wedding day, because you'll go to any wedding or see any wedding in the future and be brought back to that. I felt really uncomfortable there. So I direct in a way that adapts to the situation. I'll push it as far as I think is comfortable to go. The Wes Anderson one was really good because the bride and groom were very up for it. The guys took a bit of coaxing, and I could have gone a lot further, but it was a very chaotic wedding day, and trying to get the symmetry and working with a photographer that was really accommodating, but was also very much under pressure to get what they needed. And in a style that really needs patience. That was a really challenging logistical shoot, the Wes Anderson one. The directing was quite easy because it's very simple. Office directing was actually okay because I just lent into who the people were anyway. Mm-hmm. I kind of had a kind of idea of characters that I wanted, and I basically pinned them out in the morning and gone, right, you like a drink, you're going to be the drunk for the day. And you like a goss, you're going to be gossiping to everyone today and things like that. So very, it's not overly directed. It's just as and when you see a moment, you kind of suggest something. But that kind of is how I work on a day that doesn't have a theme anyway. If I see a group of people having fun, I'll get them to like play Tig or something like that. Like I will throw in a request if I think the moment, could do with a bit more fun.
I love this style. I love the way that the industry is going, and I love the fact that you've been doing this for a while. I was going to say before you're kind of Scotland's answer to the Wild Strawberry, but you were almost doing it before they were.
I mean, I look at their stuff and it blows my mind. That's something that I wish I had they obviously say that they see a moment when they enter a room and they kind of figure it out as they go. They've got a level of creativity in their eye that's just far beyond what I've got. I think I can make something in an edit, but I usually leave a wedding thinking, oh man, I missed so many moments there. It is just sort of trying to take pockets of inspiration on the wedding day as you kind of go. But I'm definitely nowhere near. I'm kind of in the same avenue.
They are pretty good, aren't they?
But they are. I mean, they do. I think they do quite. I've spoken to them briefly. We've had them on the podcast, and I know there was one of the films where they had a cinema and the curtains came down. And I'm like, it's so good to be able to do that. And I have the ideas that I would like to do that, but it's just getting the participation that is sometimes short. And obviously, and as well, if you've got a very hectic schedule, doing all of this is quite tough. So
you just reminded me. Actually, I was going to say I've never done this kind of thing, but I forgot I have. I had a groom saying he wanted to sneak us like a funny bit into the video as a surprise to his wife, where they reenact a scene from Love Actually, where he starts off looking out of the window, and what's it called? The song is it Jump or something like that?
When Hugh Grant.
Yeah, and he puts his hands on his hips and he starts wiggling his bum. And they get, he does that bit, and they get all the groomsmen involved doing separate bits, like one dancing down the stairs and then one going across. And you know what? That was so much fun. But the whole time there was a bridesmaid there, one of the groomsmen's like girlfriend / wife saying, "Can we wrap it up now, guys? We've got to get down there." And they were like, "Hang on, just one more." So it was so stressful. But yeah, that was really good fun. I think I'd like to follow in that kind of direction myself.
It's stressful, but because you don't necessarily have the time to compose it the very best way. I mean, if you had all the time in the world, you would do it perfectly. But you are kind of rushing the job. Like sometimes it's not even on a tripod. You're just hoping that it keeps steady. And it doesn't look as professional as it could do. But again, this is also just a fun film for them. It's they understand that you're usually a one-person crew, and they're asking you to replicate something that 2,000 people worked on.
Yeah,
You know,
but that's part of the comedy as well, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, just like your guy who spat, just laughed straight away.
Yeah,
that was the bit that made me laugh.
Yeah,
the same,
see, the thing is, I remember at
college
when we were making films, you know, we would go out with the camera and we'd film something that looked horrendous, but we had great laugh watching that back. And I know that's a universal feeling, you know, it's, if you had fun doing something, you have even more fun watching it back. So that's the aim for it.
Totally. Yeah.
What, do you want a funny story, Jason, about on the festival night, all the nominees shortlisted, you know, we had like a 10, 15 second preview of each of the film, right? With an AI voiceover that would say like name of the filmmaker and name of the film. And yours was for Connie and Rod. And obviously, in that Wes Anderson film, Connie and Rod, you use yourself voice, like AI voice, right? And then in the preview that we showed, the little snippet, it talks about Connie and Rod. Like, I don't know what the accent is, but is it an American accent? I think that you put in. Anyway, when we were doing our little AI voice for the filmmaker and the film title, it says like Afterglow Wedding for Connie and Rod. Like, and then we kind of had to tweak the probe because it wouldn't sound the same as like what you had.
Yep.
See what I mean?
Yeah,
that's funny.
I had the same issue.
That was a nightmare.
I had the same issue. I basically just spelt it ROD, Connie and Rod.
Yeah.
Like you have to spell things sometimes just to make like see like the whole Glasgow thing. Like Jeff at our summit, we obviously had a voiceover, sort of announcing the summit, and it was kind of like a character within the summit, and we always tried to make it like give the American pronunciation of Glasgow, so we could take the nick out of it. But the AI got it right every single time. I had to try and manipulate this AI computer to say "gow" all the time because it was like it understood it quickly. It was always Glasgow, so I was like, "How can I get this thing to say "gow"?" So I just put an "ow" and "g" and just blended it together.
Because that reel you're talking about, that I loved that. I absolutely loved it. And when we were like thinking about making some promotional reels for our thing, I saw that and I just thought, there's no way we're catching that. You know, we need to be doing this for a few years before we get to that kind of level. So
do you know,
we're gonna chase you though.
That was essentially thought of, created, and finished in 2 hours.
Oh, wow.
Wow. We were struggling for ideas of what to do, and Danny and I work best when we're either under pressure and not scripted. We sort of, when we script things, it never turns out kind of as we want it. Obviously, you know, the outro one was the intro one was that, you know, the signs were broken and stuff like that. Our studio had collapsed that week, so we had a damaged studio anyway. So we thought we'll just trash the place, but yeah, so it's things on the wedding day when you try and just think of what would, we've got a situation here, what could make this just a bit funnier or just add a bit of humor to it. So I think
what is one style or, you know, or directing style that you know is on your bucket list, because you've done the Wes Anderson, you've done The Office, they're really like iconic stuff visually, and you know, what else would you like to do?
I'm really looking forward to someone asking me to do Guy Ritchie. I think that would be
I've been
really
asked,
cool.
Actually,
like
I'll send
proper
them your way.
badass one, because the characters you get at a wedding could really lean into it as well. Like you could have people who, I could have a kid like be like, you know, a proper mafia boss or something like that, you know, and it just leans into the humor of it. Like you can obviously go create like proper thugster with it, but you know, I would always want to lean it back into humor and really not make a panto out of it, but incorporate characters you wouldn't expect into it. You know, you've got the traditional ones like Tarantino and things like that. I'd quite like to give Edgar Wright another go as well. Like I did one before, and I feel like I could actually do more with it on the longer film. Because Edgar Wright, if you're not familiar, is like Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, that sort of style. So I didn't actually enter that one into the awards, and I realized I hadn't by the deadline, and I was like, that I was probably more proud of that one than I was the Wes Anderson one.
When was that filmed?
It was last year as well.
That works then.
If it's
No,
25,
not last year.
you
It
can
was
enter
the year before.
Oh, year before?
24.
Okay, got you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a shame.
way.
So,
Can I see it in
hang
private?
on, was it? No, wait a minute. It was last year. It was last May.
Right.
Oh, well, there you go.
There you go.
Yeah, I can
It's
do
eligible.
that. Cool.
I've just had an idea, which I can't do myself, but someone that's used to doing this kind of thing, like a Curry Barker style. Have you seen the film that's like causing all the buzz, Obsession?
Haven't seen it.
It's amazing. It's like it's a film that's rescuing the movie industry because it's so good, and it was made on a pittance, and it's like a comedy horror. So go and watch it, like, because it's such an amazing film for a start. But then I think if you make kind of like an Obsession themed kind of like pre-wedding shoot or something, that could be really funny.
Well, funny you should say that, because the couple won't mind me saying it because they won't be named. But on October this year, I'm going to a forest to film an elopement, and part of this, we're going to be doing a bit of pre-wedding shoots with this as well. They want a horror film made for their wedding because on Halloween, people are going to an engagement party, not knowing that this couple are already married. And this film is going to be shown. And
Wow.
essentially, they said, we want them to be scared. And I'm like, okay, I accept the challenge. So, but they also like, Young Frankenstein. So they like the comedy elements. They like Alien. They like Predator. They've got a dog. They like Scream. So, I'm thinking of things like, do we stab the cake? Like, I'm going to have to, I've got a kind of idea in my head of what we can do.
Cake.
Obviously.
I thought you said kid.
Okay, yeah. So we're going to stab the cake.
That's a bit much.
Stab the cake. Yeah. So that's going to be another sort of experimental one where, we try and we stretch what we can do with horror. I'll maybe go Alfred Hitchcock on it or something. It's trying to just be, more psychological with it because, I'm not I'm not like an amazing director and I don't have all the assets available to me, but trying to learn more about cinematic language to kind of tell more horror elements. And yeah, so I'm excited about that.
Yeah,
so that should be one thing. Another one that would be amazing to pull off, but it's impossible is was it Birdman, the one that was one continuous shot? How good would it be?
Yeah, cool.
One continuous shot of a wedding? Obviously, you could just use like transitions to make it happen, but that would be so cool to do, like maybe a 3-minute film or something like that. That was just that ended with the ceremony of the kiss, and then it's kind of like an FPV drone, but actually done on gimbal or something.
That'd be really cool. Actually,
really cool.
That would be amazing.
It would almost have to be a styled shoot because I just don't understand how you'd get.
I know that there's it's not quite. I don't think it's 3 minutes, but I know that was it James Tracy, Jeff, that said he tried to do like a very long take of something. What was it? Was it the bride walking down the aisle or something? He followed her. I think that's the one.
Right. Was it definitely James?
Obviously, he basically tried to do it within the context of a wedding without any direction, and that. So he really did it on the spot. And I believe it's the bride walking down the aisle where he's gimbaling it, and he's kind of following her from behind. And I think goes to the side. It's something like this. That's what I seem to think about, and that's really cool.
It's super cool, but just that's such a precious moment, though. Like I think above all else, cinema comes second to the moment. Like it's unless everyone's on board with it, but I think there's certain moments of the day that shouldn't be experimental, and the ceremony is definitely one where I personally I wouldn't try and compete with the moment.
I
think it's.
I did it with one of these bands that kind of stand on little things during the meal and sort of like sings.
Oh yeah, the what's it called?
Slowly during the meal. Yeah, it was those guys. Yeah, it was those guys, and there was the point where the atmosphere is getting really, really good. I did I think it was about a 5-minute shot that made it into the edit. Just like on a gimbal, just going around and like people like sort of singing to the camera and then just going past, and it was no trickery, no kind of cuts anywhere. And the clients were really, really pleased with that. because the actual atmosphere didn't need any cuts. It just really represented the atmosphere as it was. So I think we need to do more things like that, don't we?
Something that a lot of people take from me is raw footage. And during the drinks reception and during the dancing, I will always do one of those shots where I just walk around the room. So essentially, it's like one of those videos where you're walking around New York or something. It's like, this is your wedding. And it's like a long, continuous shot of me just walking, seeing who's next to each other and hearing the conversations as you walk by them. And I think it really takes you back. So, they're not necessarily to be used in a highlight or anything, but they're great as individual clips because, it really takes you back into the moment. So, I like doing those shots.
Yeah, that's really cool.
You should
How
practice.
do you find I was just going to say, Jeff, sorry, but on the things that particularly like Wes Anderson, where it is symmetry, how do you then balance creatively those directed shots where you can plan that symmetry, but with the idea that it's like you want those authentic moments at the same time? How do you balance the two visually?
So obviously, some moments don't necessarily have symmetry is what you're saying. In them. Yeah. I mean, that definitely became challenging in the dancing because, there wasn't a conventional room. There wasn't anything there. But again, I just had to remind myself that, yes, this is a Wes Anderson inspired film, but it's also their wedding day. And if I can keep the camera still and have two dancers at either side of the frame for at least a couple shots, and then interlink that with dancing, plus the music that accompany it is still on theme. You have to remind yourself when you're doing a Wes Anderson thing that you don't have the luxury of choosing where people are going to be and when at all times throughout the day. So it's picking and choosing your battles with that. I think with the dancing for my Wes Anderson film, I think it blended in quite well to the calmness of the day to the wildness of the night. I think it didn't really distract from that. It wasn't totally on brand with Wes Anderson. And then obviously I take you out of that and calm it back down again when they all get tired, sit at the couch, and then do a nice Wes Anderson swipe to finish it off. So I think it's just remembering that you don't have complete control of the day and do your best to kind of fit it in when it can. So I think that
makes sense. Yeah.
But it definitely is challenging because especially in the Office one, that was, you can't go around interviewing people all day and not capture the wedding as well. So it's you're just picking and choosing the elements that remind them that, oh, this isn't a complete slow film of their wedding day. This is elements that we like, but also our favorite day ever. So that's kind of what I try and do.
You were talking about the festival at the beginning and how you felt really inspired and you wanted it to, now that you're going to kick off your wedding season, you've got this inspiration in your head. What inspiration did you take from the festival? What are the things that you really want to implement in your work?
I knew going to the festival that I was going to see something that I hadn't seen before. I definitely got that with The Wild Strawberry. That was. I don't think I want to go to that extreme with my films because that's not my lane. I love it, but I don't think I could do that. I don't think I've got the potential to do that. What I did like is that, there was an evolution of wedding videography there and that, there is more license to go even further if you want to. I had seen +2 before. I kind of looked at them a little bit, but never really immersed myself in them. I just liked the variation of where wedding films are going. And it kind of gave me permission to, really push myself a bit further if I want to. I think leading up to the awards, I was sort of looking at who I might think will do really well. And I took a lot of inspiration from Alex from Molehill, who you've had on already, and just how, he was able to interview to guests and really build a story. And the first wedding I did this year, I was leading up to it, and I've come away with over 3 hours of audio, of usable audio.
Wow.
It helped the fact that there was 8 speeches in the day, and 8 of them were amazing. So that teaser, I'm hoping, is going to get released tonight. It's very different to what I've normally done, but again, Afterglow isn't a one size fits all. It adapts to the wedding day. And what the awards have done for me is I can see certain films that I've got coming up and how they can test me in different creative ways. And rather than just like delivering a wedding film just for the client to enjoy it, I'm going to push myself so that they get a better experience, but I also have a more diversified portfolio of work. And I think something like this is good practice to sort of allow ourselves to kind of challenge ourselves and push us forward. So the fact that there is so many different categories, I feel like I've got enough projects this year that I can guide the couple in a way that would you be interested in doing something like this or that, because my brand allows me to do that and they're open to seeing what I can do. It allows me to kind of challenge for these things. And I may or may not come away with anything, but it's as long as the couple gets a fantastic film at the end of it, then that's all that matters. But yeah, it'd be good for the community to have a look at them as well.
Are we going to see you next year?
100%. Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping. I mean, what's the date of it again? Is it been announced when it is?
1st of March, is it? 1st of March.
I was going to say, where's my phone? My phone's right there.
Yeah, I do that all the time.
Yeah. 1st of March.
It is 1st of March, yeah.
Yeah, that looks all right. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, I'll be there. I loved it last year. One, everyone knows I love going to the event. Haven't missed Coda, haven't missed my summits, haven't missed your festival. I love, we don't get to work with other people quite a lot. I'm fortunate that I get to run a podcast with someone and we talk to loads of people all the time. But that face-to-face interaction, celebrating people who are, who deserve to be celebrated. I just love the whole thing. And, I think you did a fantastic job last year. And it was something that the industry desperately wanted. And, those trophies look sick. So, yeah. It'd be good to...
Can you see it right there?
Oh, is there? Yeah, it's there.
That's
we got special ones because we're not allowed to enter, so we got special ones.
Oh,
like participation awards.
It's like when you go to Disney and you get like a world best dad Mickey Mouse trophy.
Yeah, exactly. Literally.
Oh man. Yeah, well, it'd be good to add to the one that I've won in my life,
Yes, absolutely. I mean, looking at the caliber of your work, it was a gnat's whisker that you didn't win. Honestly, it was so close. And I
Yeah,
definitely.
it was
got potential. Definitely.
I knew I had a good one with the Wes Anderson edit. I think
it's so. That's what I love about it. Sorry for interrupting, Jason. Really quickly, what I love about these is yours in particular, and others, not just yours, but yours is on that list, are so memorable. Like all the judges remember. Like if we just say, "Do you remember the Wes Anderson edit?" It's like, yeah, we do. See what I mean? It's so distinctive. It's different, and it's not just about celebrating being different for the sake of being different, but it's creatively it is different, and it's exciting and unique.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's what excites me about turning up to an edit desk with a whole bunch of footage, not knowing what's gonna turn out. Like I didn't have a storyboard for that Wes Anderson edit. I didn't know what I was going to do. What I did know is I had a few shots in my head that were going to define what that edit looked like, and they were going to be kind of the pillars of what I need to work around. And that's kind of what happens at every wedding. I have key moments that aren't necessarily the first kiss or a speech. It's a moment of the day. Like for example, I think another one I gave you is something about Dunbar where she's like, scream if you want to go louder, Dunbar, or something like that. That was the funniest moment for me in the day. And I was like, right, that's the hook right there, So you don't know what the film is going to look like. And that's the funnest part for me. But I think, I had a good edit with that one. I was sort of thinking, maybe it's too inspired by someone else that we're maybe kind of looking for, originality or something, and that's sort of designed on there. But I was kind of looking at it from, I've still gone and filmed a wedding. I've created this from an actual wedding day. and I did it myself as well. So, I was hoping that people who were judging it knew the kind of challenges that went into it and could appreciate it for what it was. So, because a lot of people might just see that and think it's very easy to pull off. As much as the inquiries I've got to replicate it have eventually not booked me because I've told them what I would be expecting of them. So, because a lot of people just think it's like, oh yeah, we'll do that and it'll be no bother. And yeah, it's not as simple as just pointing a camera. It's there's a bit of thought that has to go into it.
Definitely looking forward to seeing what you do this year, and the one that you didn't enter last year.
Yeah,
especially the Trainspotting one and the horror one.
Yeah, I've got quite a few this year that are quite different. But I mean, the first one of the year isn't even themed. Well, the brief of the first one of the year was Notting Hill, Father of the Bride, and Wes Anderson. That was the three that they wanted, but not the quirkiness of Wes Anderson. The romance of Notting Hill, with the aesthetic of Wes Anderson is what we're going for. So it's very different to what I post. But I don't know when this podcast goes out, but it'll be live on the grid. I'm hoping if they like it, because it's always different when you try something different. You kind of hope that they you've executed in a way that actually tells what your impression of the day was, even if it isn't.
So has the couple seen it?
I've not finished it. I'm coloring it right now.
Okay, got you.
Like once I get off this, I'm coloring it. Because I'm also, that's another thing. The awards have inspired me to, I've got the +2 film LUTs and everything, and I've got like trying to figure out how to color things more correctly because I realized I was a bit lazy with my coloring. So I'm really trying to discover a color palette that works, with different films. So I'm really leaning into that as well. So hopefully that kind of comes through with the film.
Nice.
But I don't know if I've gone too far. It's so that's always a thing. Like this maybe looks right, and then you look at it. I was editing till 4:00 last night, and then
that's the problem with color grading and stuff.
Oh, why did I do that? That's not good. Yeah. So yeah. Hopefully that gets released soon. I'll send you over WhatsApp or something if you want to see it before.
I'd love that.
Because I'll probably sending to everyone.
Really cool. Yeah.
To get some confidence. But it's nothing like anything I've done. So
nice.
Are we ready to circle back, Joss, to our favourite bit again?
Jeff.
Okay. Yes. Can you remind us of your 2 truths and 1 lie, please, Jason?
Certainly can. Outside of the wedding industry, I have won 1 trophy in my life. I should have, it could have been 2 this year if I was more lucky if I got there. But no, 1 trophy in my life. The
remote control racing. Yeah. Yes,
remote control car racing. Yes, I was a regional champion in Aberdeenshire where I was raised and represented Scotland in remote control car racing.
I love how you represented Scotland.
Yeah.
This is the bit that gets me. Yeah. Okay, sorry for interrupting. Keep going.
Number 2 is I was born partially deaf until I was 4. I couldn't hear music. I couldn't speak until I was 4 years old. And number 3, in 1999, Pokemon released the first 102 cards of their base set. Now, if you're not into Pokemon, then it's crazy. This was absolutely mad. And this set is, it's not been released since. So this is 1999. I've got all 102 cards.
Okay, who's going first, Joss? So I've got an idea.
You do?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Pokemon one.
I was going to go with the Pokemon, I promise.
Really?
Just based on how you said it, and almost like the delivery felt less of a story and more factual, and that makes me think it's like it's a lie. So I'll go with the Pokemon being the lie as well.
Okay, so I'll just go get my Pokemon book.
No.
So right here is my Pokemon book. This was mine from 1999, and as you can see, there is quite a lot of cards in here.
Wow!
Including one Charizard, which is the super rare Charizard. Now, the question is actually you actually are correct. I have 90. I have 90 of them.
So you're missing 9.
Number 1, which is Alakazam. I'm missing number 12 and 13, which is Ninetales and Poliwrath. But I don't go and just buy them off eBay. I need to find them. That's the joy.
Right.
Like when you're at school, you pull a card out of a pack and you get it. I mean, nowadays I can just go on eBay and get the set if I want, but I like to find them. If I can trade them, I'll trade them. But that's just the base set. I've got bloody I've got about 500 cards from different sets and stuff. But
do you not have like is it Jake Paul or Logan Paul that had this like really expensive, something worth like 15 million? Is it the same as that?
Not quite. It is this card. But to get geeky on you here, let me get geeky. Okay.
Let me pull out my gold chain.
So, to get geeky for you, right? There's 2 cards. This is only for people who are watching online, right? So you'll notice that there's this little symbol here. That's called a first edition, right? There was only one set of first editions getting released. This one does not have that. Okay. And also there's a border. You see the kind of shadow that goes around the border? There was a set released that didn't have a shadow. And the first edition shadowless is the one that's cost a lot of money. This thing still worth a bit of money, but
still worth. So for the festival, Jace, please put it around your neck. That'd be fantastic, please.
Yeah, I know. I could put it around my neck. I've got 2 of them, so I do have 2 of them.
Hey, there you go.
But
quick question: if you did have a $15 million Pokemon card, would you carry on videoing weddings?
I would be very selective. Yeah. They would have to impress me, I think, and I could go with them. I could go at it with budget as well. Like essentially, I don't think
you could pay them.
I would pay them. Yeah, I would do them, and I would bring like, okay, we're going to do this properly. We're going to do it Hollywood style.
Yeah. You're going to pick the dress for them and everything.
Because I'd absolutely still have some sort of relation to video if I had some money. Yeah. Whether that was like running like a YouTube studio or something like that. I think, just it'd be really cool to give access to people. Things like I would love to open like a podcast studio that people could get access to, and I want people to have access to things that are really cool. So I would definitely
and
stay
Jason,
involved.
you were actually deaf up until you were 4.
What's
That's
that?
true. You were deaf until you were 4.
What's that?
You were deaf until you were 4.
Sorry?
You were deaf until you were...
Yeah. It was...
Wow.
I can't remember the diagnosis of what it was actually called, but essentially I was born with far too much wax in my ears. They couldn't operate on me until I was of a certain age. So yeah, they sorted that out when I was just about to turn 4. So I remember going to like speech therapy classes and things, and
wow.
and yeah, but apparently it was a nightmare for my parents. Like, but it was like, so when they would turn away, I would just like grab their head and turn them because I needed to read the lips. I needed to see what they were saying.
Wow.
But yeah, it's that was true.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
We're not going to talk about the fact that you represented Scotland at all.
I mean,
it's
definitely not one of my proudest days. I did not represent the country very well at all. Yeah, I just got absolutely thrashed. Like, wasn't my day at all. So, but yeah. And then that was it.
Right. Well, it's been amazing to have you on. You know,
it has been.
Know you quite well, having done a couple of your pods, and I think you sat quite close to me at the festival as well.
Yeah, we were next to each other actually. Yeah.
So can't wait to see you again. Well, I might pull my finger out and come to some more events. So I might see you before. But if I don't, definitely see you on the 1st of March.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we've got the quotas before that, and then obviously your festival, and then some will be a month within. I think within the same... Actually, it's only like 2 or 3 weeks after your event.
Right. There you go. Okay.
Yeah, so it's only 2 or 3 weeks between us now, but... so you'll be sick of me by then. But, yeah, thanks so much for having me on. It was great to get the message to come on. It's like you sort of have an idea about what you want to talk about, and then you just get super excited just talking about ideas. So it's always good to
it's been great.
talk about what I'm passionate about. So thanks for having me.
Thanks a lot, Jason. You're awesome, mate.
Yeah,
thanks,
mate.
mate.
Good luck again for next year.